Hi guys and welcome to today's video. Today I thought I'd do the top 10 kind of palettes. If I could only keep 10, I think it's called. It's like a tag. I saw Angelica Nyqvist do it and I was like, well, I've got to do it too. I've also seen a lot of other YouTubers do it. I don't know if she was the creator of the tag, but I just saw her do it, so I kind of wanted to do it too. And I just thought it was a bit of fun, and I had nice makeup on today, so I was like, do you know what? Let's film that. I don't want to take this makeup off. I feel cute. And if you're new here, hello, welcome. My name is Meg, and I like to talk about all the superficial things around here, all the things that don't really matter but bring us joy in the everyday grind that can be life. I talk about all things makeup, skincare, hair care, homeware, and fashion sometimes. So if that's anything that you like the sound of, then please hit subscribe down below, join my little family, join my warm embrace, join my circle of trust, and let's get into my top 10. I don't know, just the top 10 palette tag. Oh wow, messed that up, didn't I? Yeah. Okay, great. So if you don't know, by the way, the whole premise of this video is if I could only keep 10 palettes. It's not necessarily my top 10 favourite palettes, it's not necessarily like my top 10 out of one brand or anything like that. It's just if I could only keep 10, what 10 would I keep? Now I've seen a lot of YouTubers say, you know, ask me in 2 months time and all 10 will be different, or, you know, a majority of them be different. I genuinely believe at least 5 of these would remain the same. And one of them was the Too Faced Just Peachy Mattes palette. I think you can still purchase this palette if I remember correctly. They might be discontinuing it, I'm not sure. But I think that you can actually still buy this. So this palette is lovely. It is just like it says on the tin, it is matte peachy shades. And the reason I love this palette, well actually there's multiple reasons, but one, the scent. It's slightly going now because it's kind of old, but it smells just like peaches. It's very, very nice. It smells like faux peach, not like real peach. And these are all just matte shades. They're lovely. They are truly lovely. I feel like we haven't seen this palette on YouTube for a long time, but I still use this palette quite often, to be fair. I use this row quite often. This row is really great for just simple going out the door, like bronzy tones, and these are some really nice deepening shades. I just feel like there's a bit of everything. There's a lot of contrast. There's a pop of peach, like a real nice pop of peach in the centre. I feel like I can really do a variety of looks, and this palette is so loved. I feel like it doesn't look it because I haven't hit pan on anything, but I promise you there's some decent dents in some of these shades. I really, really love this palette. I also love this for kind of setting a base and having some toppers and glitters and things. I love like really sheer peachy or like orangey glitters with these peachy shades. I truly love it. I think for all these palettes I'm probably just going to swatch like my top 4 shades perhaps, and one of them is going to be Peach Tea. I love, love, love this shade. Another one has to be Peach Punch, and then let's go for Peach Cobbler and Peach Sangria. I find that these shades are really, really creamy, really blendable, and I love the pigmentation of them. I feel like Too Faced can be definitely hit and miss a lot of the times, but these shades are just really, really nice. It's only peachy shades that you're going to get out of this, but I actually really, really like it, and I just find it easy, you know. It's something that I could definitely wear to work. If I could only have 10 things in my collection, I would love to have something that's really easy and just is a non-negotiable, you know. It's just going to make my eyes look good regardless. If I want a pop of peach, I've got it there. If not, I've got some nice matte whites and nice matte browns and a variety of different tones of just brown. So this palette had to be in that 10. The next palette I had to mention was the Colourpop So Jaded palette. I'm not entirely sure if you can still get this anymore. This was a collaboration between Colourpop and Kathleen Lights. I just love it so, so much. I wore this on my graduation day, so if you haven't already seen my graduation day makeup, I'll link it up in the eye. I used this palette on my graduation day, so that's how much I love it. I feel like this palette is full of like sultry, murky tones. Now I love experimenting with my makeup. I have had more than a couple of makeup fails around here. We've all seen it in terms of eye makeup, and I'm like, why did I think that colour theory would go well? This looks hideous. And I've definitely looked back on pictures or selfies I've taken, or like just pictures of myself, or even videos, and I'm like, that eye makeup looks horrific. But I feel like what does look good on me all the time is sultry makeup, like really smoky glam makeup. I feel like I always look half decent, and this palette always delivers it to me. Every single time I use this palette I am never disappointed, and it's just full of really, really lovely tones. It's great for dressing up and dressing down, and I just had to have it. I would just absolutely have to have it if I could only have 10 palettes. And I think that's the thing, is you've got 2 pressed glitters in here, which I'm not a massive fan of pressed glitters, but when you do want them, they are quite handy to have. And I really, really love this palette. I think it's got some good range of light to deep and also different pops of colour, but in a very subtle way. Okay, let's swatch Diamond, which is the Super Shock Shadow. Really, really lovely for the brow bone. Let's swatch, ooh, Peridot, I love this shade so much. Ugh, it's so beautiful. Let's swatch Smoky Quartz. I wore this one and he said on my wedding day. I meant graduation. This is really pretty too. And we'll go Emerald, this one down here, which again, a beautiful, beautiful shade. Of course, this palette is 35 shades, so this is only a small sample. You can see that top shade, it looks like nothing, but on the eyes actually looks stunning. Okay, this next palette has potential to be quite controversial, but I simply love it. This is the Jeffree Star Alien palette. This got so much flack. The packaging is... it's like great because it's really cool and like the eyes stick out and it's kind of funky, but equally it's like the worst nightmare in my entire drawer because it just doesn't sit well at all. I have to lie it down and then I stack all my mini ones on the forehead of the alien. It's kind of annoying, but it's kind of the coolest palette I have. Inside here is just, okay, sorry that's gonna shine. I just love this palette. I love this palette so much, and I'm sorry if you don't like him or his makeup. It's fine. I'm not pushing the product on you. You don't have to tell me that you don't like him. It's fine. No one has to like everyone. I get it. I know he's a horrible person. I get it, but I love the palette, so I'm being truthful with you. This palette is just everything about this. I'd say if like you removed perhaps like this much, I just love up here, like this to me is just like sensual. And then these shades just down here really help like deepen up and just change the vibe from murky yellow green. I love this palette so much. Whenever I use this, I just feel so extra. I mean, this shade right here, Flying Saucer, is insane. This shade here, Abduction, which is like a chartreuse, insane. I love every single shade in here. Let's go for Area 51 and let's go for, ooh, what should I go for? Martian Soil, why not? I personally love Jeffree Star's formula. I know that's not a popular opinion, but I'm just going to say how it is. I haven't got a couple of his, I haven't got any of his latest palettes. I haven't got the Orgy palette and I haven't got the Blood Money, and I really do want the Blood Money though, and I haven't got the pink Bible book, holy, I don't know what it's called, but this palette is really cool and I love this. Oh god, look at these tones. Like, this to me is everything. I love it. Why have I swatched all mattes? What's wrong with me? I didn't swatch any metallics there. I'm gonna do a cheeky one extra, and this is Alien, and I'm just gonna swatch it down here for you. It is insane. It is insane. Like, they're so smooth and they perform on the lid so well. I love this palette. Again, it would probably make up one of the top 5 palettes in my entire collection. You could strip everything from me and I would truly miss this. I don't apply it every day, I don't apply it all the time, and I don't apply it on camera anymore because I know some people get a bit offended by that. That's fine, I understand. I'm not trying to convert you. I'm not a Jehovah's Witness. I'm not trying to knock on your door and make you buy Jeffree Star makeup. It's all good. But this truly is an integral part in my collection, and I love it. I love it. This is where I get witch hunted now, you watch. This next palette makes me feel like the sexiest mofo. The Anastasia Beverly Hills Sultry palette. I can't express my love for this palette. I simply cannot. But this palette is truly wonderful. This is all of my Cool Tone Dreams all in one palette. My camera's gonna focus. All of my Cool Tone Dreams in one palette. If you removed this coral shade, this is just stunning. I truly love this. I wear this on nights out all the time. If I've got like a ball gown dinner event to go to and I want something reliable, sexy, sultry, nothing that's going to get too much attention, but equally people are going to be like, wow, your eye makeup looks fabulous, this is the palette I go to. If I want a smoky eye, this is the palette I go to. If I want a lovely liquid metal look, this is the palette. The shade Cyborg in here is beautiful. It's beautiful. Let's swatch another one. Let's swatch Rose Quartz perhaps, and ooh, Twig is a nice one. Maybe this slate grey shade. Let's do that. The metallics in here are so silky and creamy, like they are just so consistent, and the mattes are too, to be fair. Like, look at that, they're so nice. Yeah, I truly love this palette so much, and it's such a reliable palette. It's one of those things where for me, when a palette is reliable and I can just pick it up and not even think about the look I'm about to create, it's got to be a favourite, and it's got to be kept to my collection. So if I could only keep 10, this is going to be one of the top 3 palettes that I pick up automatically. I refuse to not have this in my collection. This next palette I have slight anxiety about, because I know that one day I'm going to hit pan on some of these shades, and that triggers me. It triggers me because I don't think I can actually be without this palette. It's the Angelica Nyqvist and Kaleidos collaboration, the Club Nebula palette. This might be one of my favourite palettes of all time. I know it only came out this year, but oh my god, I have used this easily. Okay, I know this sounds silly, but easily twice a month. And for me, with the collection I've got over 75 eyeshadow palettes, and I've been picking this one up over all of them time and time again. In fact, I think in the last month I've used it already 2 or 3 times already. Like, I love this. I go out with this. This is such a beautiful injection of colour into my collection without being just plain brights and boring colourful rainbow palettes. I don't really like rainbow palettes because I find them a bit boring. I prefer something like this. This to me is everything. I love this. This entire row here creates the most beautiful like sangria vibes ever. These greens are life. This blue and this blue is stunning. These 3 here, or in fact these 4, this green, this bluey green and this green, as a look is sensational. All of these toppers are fabulous. All of these dark shades are fabulous. And then you kind of go into these mid-range tones in the middle. Oh my god, this palette is stunning. I don't even want to swatch it because I don't want to waste it. I know that Kaleidos won't be restocking this, and that greatly upsets me. It is what it is. Limited edition items come and go, but this, it like stresses me out how beautiful it is. It's stunning. She did such a good job. I'm so happy I have this. I can't even pick 4 because they're so amazing. Let's go with Gravity because it's a green and I love greens. Let's go for, ooh, Nebula. Oh my god, I love it so much. You have no idea. Let's go for You're My Only Hope. And let's go for another matte. Let's go into Cylon. Why not? Oh my goodness. Like, this green on the eyes is just splendid. Oh my goodness. This one as well. Absolutely unreal. Sorry, my pinky is never good at swatching because it doesn't have a lot of pressure on. I feel like all the swatches I'm giving you today are really rubbish, but honestly this palette is just absolutely everything. I love it so much. I've created some beautiful looks out of this. The next palette is actually from Colourpop, and I have a lot of Colourpop palettes, so it was really difficult for me to not pick up a lot of them. Obviously I've already got the So Jaded from Colourpop, but another Colourpop palette that I love is the At Forest Sight by Raw Beauty Christie. It's a collaboration. I'm really sorry that these are all like collaborations I seem to be loving, but you know, I've got to be honest, I've got to tell you the truth. The packaging on this is so beautiful. Like, look at this. It's like a Winnie the Pooh story, and inside you've got some really magical tones. Again, it's like the deep grunginess. I love deep grungy colourful eyeshadows. I think they're stunning. I think they're much easier to work with as well. I love easy makeup. Don't get me wrong, you know, there's like the couple of occasions, I'd say like 40% of the time, I love trying and testing new colourful things, and I love crazy eyeshadow, and I love having vibrant orange what's it eyes. I love it. But sometimes, most of the time, I love experimenting with colour in this way. This to me is like the closest that I'm going to get to having a copy of the Club Nebula in terms of having the deep mattes. I just won't ever get those topper shades. They're stunning. But this is really great for mattes. There's only 2 metallics in this palette, and I'll be honest with you, like, they're not, these metallics I'm not that attuned with. I don't really care about them too much. It's the mattes for me that really make it. I mean, the metallics are nice. They're nice, but they're not why I love this palette. What's this called? Fiddlehead. This lovely ivy moss green. Emerald City. PNW. This one right here. And for the next one, let's go Chanterelle. Oh, look at these. Look at these. They're just so beautiful. Like, look at these mattes. They're just so stunning. And obviously you've got the like red, pinkier raspberry tones in here as well, which I really love. This palette to me, again, is one of those palettes that I can easily put a Super Shock shadow with, or a glitter, or like a pigment, and I can put it on top, and these colours are really going to just steal the show. They're going to be a great foundation for other sparklier things. I don't mind doing that. I'm not a massive single pan matte eyeshadow girl, but I'm definitely a person that picks up for colourful matte or mattes, and then I don't mind adding a bit of sparkle too. The next palette I want to talk about is my spenny one, okay? It's a spenny one. This is the Natasha Denona Gold palette. This is so beautiful, and I feel like if I only had 10 palettes, this does a bit of everything. It dresses me up, it makes me look spectacular, but it also really brings me down to those office tones where I just need a pop of gold on the lid, and it's gonna look fab with whatever I wear. You know, like gold brown eyeshadow literally goes with anything, like literally goes with anything. I couldn't really wear, I mean I could because there's no rules, but I wouldn't feel comfortable wearing green or blue eyeshadow with a red lip, for example. I just feel a little bit too clashy. It's not my gig. But with this, I could apply some really basic lovely gold shades in here and apply a red lip, a raspberry lip. I could apply a really wacky blue lip and I'd feel great because I'm just wearing some really lovely tones. Natasha Denona's formula, I think, is overhyped. I mean, yes, because I think paying nearly onward of £100 for an eyeshadow palette is actually obscene, and I don't care that you get a lot in the palette. I think it's just obscene, full stop. Is it beautiful? Absolutely it is. I'm going to swatch a few for you now. This one here, it's called Brass. So we'll swatch that one. We'll swatch another matte, I think. We'll swatch this one here, why not? So the one I've got on this finger is Teak, and then I'm going to go into Alchemist, I think. Oh my god. And then let's go for Varus, because I could see myself applying that all over the lid just on like an everyday. Oh my goodness. This shade right here is like my everything. This is not picking up how, like, really, please, can you just pick up on camera how stunning this is? It truly is magical. And then you've got some really beautiful mattes. I feel like this is a good representation of how all the mattes work in this palette. It's just really smooth, creamy, consistent, everything we love. And then we've got some really lovely brassy golds, and then lovely satiny, like just smooth shades, you know? This to me is just a stunning palette, and that top shade here, I'd say represents this whole top row. This top row is stunning. This one is more leaning green and this one's leaning more blue. These two are much more like blue toned, and because of that you can easily get a very green look out of this, like an aged green, like a green gold, and I truly love that. These really make this palette for me. But like I said, these here, like this one that I've swatched, that shade there, is stunning across the entire lid with just something fluffed through the crease. It's easy, and if you wanted to make it a bit special, you could pop this shade in the inner corner. It's just a really fabulous palette. It doesn't run too deep, but I feel like I've got some blacks from like the Sultry. I've got a black in the Sultry, I've got a black in the Alien palette, so I would easily be able to reach into that to create a look and like just deepen it up. I truly love this one. It's really, really nice. I'd say it's probably one of, if not my favourite Natasha Denona palette. I filmed a video on the Sigma Warm Neutrals palette. I actually have the original here, which is the Warm Neutrals 2, and then I have the revamped version into their new formats, their like rebranded version. So I have both of them here. I thought I'd just show them both to you, but that they're one palette. And I've got a video on these and comparing them. I won't tell you obviously here, but you can go check that out. I'll link it up in the eye. If it's not uploaded already, I'll link up in the eye. It will be whenever. And yeah, I compared these two palettes to see what the difference was, yada yada yada. But the reason I want to include this palette is, I'm just gonna hold this one up, but this is the original, and I travelled, I still do, I mean obviously I haven't travelled in a while, I travel with this palette all the time because it has a bit of everything I need. Pre-COVID in like 2019, Jake and I did quite a lot of travelling. We went to quite a few different places and we saved up and we went on a few weekends away, and I really felt like I got to know me as a person who enjoys makeup and travels. I realised that I wasn't using half the stuff I brought along with me, but what I was doing was spending 10 minutes on my makeup in the morning. I didn't want to be spending my holiday doing my makeup. I just didn't want to do that. I enjoy doing my makeup, but I didn't want to be spending ages. I wanted to do something that was nice, I liked it in a picture, and that was it. Let's get out the door. I don't care. I don't want to be spending ages doing it. So this palette was perfect for that because it had a bit of everything. It was easy to fling through the crease and deepen up, or change the tone of it, make it a bit mauvey, make it a bit more red, make it gold, make it nice and pearly pink, or make it nice and grungy and green and just smoky. So I really, really love this palette, and I still do. Let's go for Bittersweet, let's go for Toasty because it's my favourite, let's go for Rouge, and let's go for Beaming. Again, the quality of this palette, both of them, is really, really beautiful. So I know exactly what I'm getting. Oh god, that swatch is so bad. I know exactly what I'm getting with this palette, and every time I open it up, I know what sort of look I'm going to get, because I know that the consistency of all the shades is really, really nice. Sorry for the really poor swatches, it's because I'm sitting at a really weird angle today. But the shimmers are really beautiful. I've got some inner corners, some deepening up shades, a nice contrast, and that pop of red, that rouge, is not so bright that it's scary, it's just really easy. It easily pairs with the gold, it pairs with the pinkier tones. I really, really like this palette. I think it's a great one, and yeah, if you like the colour story, they still sell it, but obviously in their newer version. But I really like this palette, I always have. And yeah, I mean, it could easily be dethroned in the sense of if I found something better or nicer, then this could easily be dethroned. But for now, if you're going to ask me the 10 palettes, if I had to keep only 10, this would make its way into that 10. So I thought I'd mention it. Can you imagine if this fell over? The 10 palettes that, you know, if I could only keep 10 and all 10 fell over and broke, I would cry. I wouldn't film for like 3 weeks, I'd be so upset. The next 2 palettes, I'm kind of... one of them I have no reservations over. Well, actually both of them I have some reservations over because they're pretty old. And there's new things coming into the market all the time, and I could totally pick one of them up instead. But the first one I'm going to mention is the Urban Decay Electric palette. Now, this has been discontinued. It's been discontinued for quite a while. They came out with the Wired palette as a replacement. In my eyes, it was just not even on the same bandwidth. This, to me, is something I would never, ever, ever declutter. It's a piece in my collection that just stays firm with me. I love it. Every time I open it up, I'm just never disappointed by the contents of it. It's stunning, and I think it's... I've got a brush hanging out. It's when Urban Decay had their best formula. It's when Urban Decay were on it like a car bonnet. They knew what they were doing. I love this palette. It's my pop of colour palette that I go to when I want vibrancy. I love it. This blue here is like my favourite cobalt blue. It's stunning. This silver pairs with all of these so well. It's the... Actually, no, there's metallic up here, but it's not very metallic. This is the only true metallic in this entire palette. Everything else is slightly matte or satin, and I don't mind. It's really beautiful. I'd say the only colour that I'm not that phased by is the peacock green. And it's just because I don't wear it. It's not because I don't like it, it's just because I don't really wear peacocky green eyeshadows, but I love this. Let me do the Chaos shade, the cobalt blue, because I love that one. We'll do Thrash, the yellow, and then we'll do Urban, the purple here. I really love this sort of plum shade as well, but we'll do Urban, really deep purpley shade. Oh yes, it's still got it. It's so pretty. It's literally so pretty. Like, how can I ever declutter a palette with this much vibrancy? Like, this is an old palette. This is an old palette, and it's still performing so beautifully. The coral shade as well. Let me see if I can swatch that as a cheeky extra. This one right here. Like, look at this one. Ooh, damn. Look at that. I love this palette so much with my entire heart. And the last palette that I'm going to talk about again is something that's not available anymore, but it is the Urban Decay Vice 4 palette. Now, the reason this is in my if I could only keep 10 is that every time I pick this up, I have a good time. This is one of my first makeup purchases. It is so old. This is so old. This is one of the first things that I went into, a Debenhams I think it was, or something like that. I can't quite remember. And I purchased this with my money, and I literally was swatching it and swatching it and swatching it, and I couldn't stop applying it to my eyes. I still absolutely love this palette. Even to this day, I think it is such an iconic, beautiful palette. It's nothing special. Like, I look at it in the monitor and I'm like, yeah, would I pick this up now? Like, I totally wouldn't purchase it if this was released today. I'd be like, what is this? But this holds a very special place in my heart. The packaging is so iconic and so Urban Decay. Like, where is this packaging now, you know? Like, where's their passion gone? In the pans, they look so boring, but I promise you, these are so beautiful. These 2 shades and the silver is what I went through all the time, and Robbery. Like, I went for all of these shades. Probably the only ones I didn't ever apply was these 2, the greys. I think that's about it, but I applied everything else. I absolutely love this palette. The shade Flame, this one right here, is so beautiful. I love it so much. Also, Bitter, this one here, is a shade that I can always like never get out of my head. This to me is the palette that introduced me to a warm brown in the crease and silver on the eyelid. I know, contradicting or what, but to me I felt great and I feel like it's always looked great. I'll do Robbery as well. That's a really nice like gunmetal silver. Really like this one. And should we we'll go for Grasshopper maybe. Haven't swatched this in a while, so God knows what this is going to look like, but oh yeah, she still performs, she still performs. This bitter shade as well is my everything. Oh, it's my everything. I love that shade. And then this gunmetal silver, again, it's like that taupey silver that's kind of in the So Jaded palette actually. Oh, if my camera's gonna focus. It's kind of like the So Jaded palette, that one, the Peridot shade, not the Peridot, I forgot what it's called now, but it's like the shade I wore on my graduation day all over my lid. I love that shade. And then we've got Grasshopper, which is like this vibrant ass green. Like, this palette is old, yet it's still performing beautifully. Like, look at those shades, they're so shiny, they're so rich, they're so nice. They are so nice. So there we have it. These are the 10 palettes that I would keep if I could only keep 10. These are the palettes, and I think I love them all for very, whoa, nearly dropped all of them. That would have been a very sad day. This would have been the logging of me crying my eyes out for 3 weeks straight. I truly love all of these palettes for different reasons, and I think the thing is with this tag is it's kind of like 10 palettes that I'd keep, but also your top 10 palettes a little bit. Like, I feel like there's a tiny bit of that in there. I've tried to pick things that are everyday as well as fun, and I feel like that I've captured that. Like, I've got some colours, I've got some vibrant pops of colours, I've got some really easy matte palettes, I've got some real deep smoky palettes. I love all makeup. I love colourful, I love smoky, I love cool tones, neutral, warm tones, colourful. I said colourful twice, didn't I? But I love everything. I love everything. I feel like the only thing missing in this whole, if I could only keep 10 palettes, is like a rainbow palette. But truthfully, I don't actually reach for rainbow palettes that often. I probably reach for them 1 out of 10 times that I apply makeup, but that's why I brought things in like the electric palette, and then I've got the Angelica Nyqvist palette. They have some colourful tones in there, so I could definitely, between all of them, do something colourful. I could achieve every colour of the rainbow between the palettes. So for me, I'm all good, you know, I'm all good. Let me know down below what palettes you would keep if you could only keep 10, or what palettes would be your go-to. Like I said to you at the beginning of this video, I had like the top 5-ish that were like non-negotiables. And I'd love to know what you're loving and what your favourites are, and it'd be really interesting to know what your favourites are and if I even own them. This video's been really fun for me to do, to look at the 10 palettes that I would keep if everything had to go missing. Oh, it's quite a statement, isn't it? Maybe I could do this with all of my makeup, like the top 10 foundations, top 10 blushes. Is that something you'd like to see? Thank you guys for watching, I really do appreciate you. Thumbs this video up if you have enjoyed, and like I said, speak to me down below about your favourite palettes. Subscribe if you haven't already, and ring the bell because then you'll be notified of all the videos I upload. I upload every single week and you wouldn't want to miss out more content from me. No, you would not. No, you would not. Thank you guys for watching once again. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.